When Jay-Z speaks, the rap world listens. The man who's been the standard of power, money, and influence for decades just shook the game with one chilling warning and his target. None other than Kendrick Lamar. After Cardi B dropped her receipts and accused Kendrick of hiding the truth. Fans expected silence from the industry's biggest legends. But Jay-Z, usually calm, calculated, and above the drama, finally broke his silence. And his words have everyone asking the same question. Does Jay believe Cardi's claims might actually be true? The moment Jay's warning hit the internet, hip-hop stopped breathing. Blogs exploded, fans lost their minds, and suddenly this wasn't just Cardi versus Kendrick anymore. This was about the very foundation of authenticity in rap. The culture may never look the same again. Stay locked in. Because what Jay-Z said could change everything. The warning heard around the world, it all started with a quiet, private interview, or at least it was supposed to be. Jay-Z, the mogul, the billionaire, the man who rarely weighs in on rap beef, sat down with a respected journalist to talk about legacy, power, and hip-hop's future. The questions were calm, the tone was reflective. Until Cardi B's explosive accusations against Kendrick Lamar came up, everyone expected Jay to laugh it off. Maybe brush the question aside. Maybe remind the world that Kendrick is one of the most respected lyricists alive. But instead, Jay leaned back, gave a small pause, and dropped the words that lit up the entire culture. Every lie got some truth in it. Sometimes when people say things, they ain't completely wrong. Kendrick, gotta address this because silence can be just as loud as words. That single line silence can be just as loud as words was enough to spark panic, speculation, and an online firestorm. Fans lose their minds. The clip went viral instantly. On Twitter, Cardi's fans flooded the timeline with Jay said I too posts. Memes spread like wildfire. Jay-Z wearing a judge's robe, holding a gavel, with Cardi and Kendrick standing before him. On TikTok, reaction videos racked up millions of views. One user summed it up perfectly. If Jay-Z even thinks Cardi might be telling the truth, then Kendrick is officially on trial. The phrase "Jay warned him" became a trending hashtag overnight, pulling in millions of tweets, and Instagram posts. The power of Jay's voice. What made Jay's comments so explosive was simple. Jay-Z doesn't waste words. He rarely engages in rap drama. His brand is built on being above the noise, speaking only when it truly matters. So when he did speak and hinted that Cardi's accusations might have the whole industry had to take it seriously. Journalists jumped on the moment. Complex ran the headline, Jay-Z breaks silence on Kendrick. Drama calls out silence as dangerous. The source asked, is Jay-Z confirming Cardi's claims? Even mainstream outlets like CNN and the New York Times referenced the interview, framing it as a cultural moment bigger than music. Cardi reacts immediately. Cardi didn't waste a second. She reposted the clip on her Instagram with fire emojis writing, "Don't ever say I lied. Even the GOAT know what it is." Her fans went crazy, calling it the ultimate cosign. Cardi supporters treated Jay's statement like gospel truth, pushing the narrative that Kendrick had no escape left. The hashtag #CARDI was right began trending alongside hashtag Jay warned him. Kendrick's camp under fire. Kendrick's silence, already criticized, now felt unbearable. His team tried to control the narrative by leaking to blogs that Jay's comment was misinterpreted and taken out of context. But that only fueled more speculation. Fans started posting side-by-side clips of Cardi's receipts and Jay's warning, arguing that even if Cardi exaggerated, the core of her claims had legitimacy. Reddit threads exploded with debates, fans dissecting every word Jay spoke. Some argued he was speaking generally about the industry. Others insisted he was speaking directly about Kendrick. But the damage was done. Jay's warning carried more weight than any denial. The industry reacts. Other rappers quickly chimed in. Meek Mill tweeted, "When Hov talk, everybody listen." Simple. Rick Ross went live on IG. saying, "Jay, don't throw shots for no reason." He telling Kendrick to step up. Jay, Cole, usually neutral, posted a cryptic line on his Instagram story, "Even kings get checked sometimes." The effect was undeniable. Jay's words made it acceptable for other artists to question Kendrick's silence. Fans turn against Kendrick's social media. Kendrick's fans found themselves outnumbered. His loyal base defended him fiercely. But even they admitted the pressure was unlike anything he'd faced before. TikTok edits showed Kendrick in old interviews saying, "I stand for truth," spliced with Cardi, flashing her receipts, and Jay warning about silence. The edits pulled millions of views, painting Kendrick as hypocritical unless he responded. One viral comment summed it up. Kendrick's whole career is about truth and authenticity. If he don't address this, he loses the very thing that makes him different. The larger conversation beyond the beef. Jay's warning opened a bigger cultural debate. Podcasts and think pieces flooded in. Is authenticity in hip-hop just a myth? Why Cardi versus Kendrick is bigger than rap battles? Jay-Z reminds us silence is complicity. Professors, journalists, and even politicians started using the phrase silence can be as loud as words in speeches and tweets. Jay had accidentally sparked a larger cultural moment bigger than Kendrick. Bigger than Cardi, bigger than hip-hop. The pressure cooker by the end of part one, the pressure on Kendrick was suffocating. Cardi's claims had already shaken his image. But now, Jay-Z, the man whose approval had defined generations of rappers, was calling him out. Publicly, the culture wasn't asking anymore. It was demanding. What is Kendrick hiding? And when will he speak? The storm had officially shifted. This wasn't just a feud anymore. This was Kendrick versus Cardi, with Jay-Z watching like a silent judge, holding the gavel of truth, and everyone knew whatever came next would shape hip-hop history. The aftershock of Jay's words, Jay's warning, wasn't just a comment. It was an earthquake. Within hours, the clip had crossed from hip-hop blogs into mainstream news. CNN replayed it during a cultural segment. MSNBC debated it on a late-night panel. Even business sites like Forbes covered the financial implications, pointing out that Kendrick's brand partnerships could be at risk if the receipts Cardi hinted at gained more traction. For Kendrick, who built his empire on the image of being untouchable and authentic, Jay's subtle acknowledgement that every lie has some truth cut deeper than any diss track. Silence was no longer a strategy, was a liability. Cardi seizes the moment. Cardi B moved fast, capitalizing on Jay's words. She reposted his clip again with a caption that lit up Instagram. "When the boss himself say it, y'all can't deny me no more." She added the hashtags #JaySaidIt and #TruthSeason, which immediately started trending. Her fans declared victory, claiming Cardi had officially won the narrative war. TikTok creators began remixing Jay's voice with Cardi's previous statements, creating viral edits that made it look like Jay was co-signing her every word. For Cardi, Jay's involvement wasn't just validation, it was ammunition. Kendrick under siege. Meanwhile, Kendrick's camp was scrambling. Sources whispered to blogs like TMZ and The Shade Room that Kendrick was deeply frustrated by the way DJ's words were being twisted, but the problem was clear. Jay's reputation as the wise elder of hip-hop meant anything he said carried enormous weight. Even if he hadn't directly accused Kendrick of wrongdoing, the internet ran with the implication. The longer Kendrick stayed quiet, the worse it looked. The meme war fans on both sides turned the feud into meme gold. One viral meme showed Jay as a referee in a boxing ring, holding up Cardi's arm like a victorious fighter while Kendrick slumped in the corner. Another depicted Kendrick hiding under a table while Cardi and Jay pointed flashlights at him, labeled Truth. Cardi herself reposted a meme of her holding stacks of receipts with Jay in the background nodding in approval. The internet wasn't just consuming this story, they were shaping it. And Kendrick had become the butt of the joke. The industry shakes other artists couldn't stay silent anymore. Drake, usually Kendrick's rival, took the chance to throw shade with a simple owl emoji and the caption, "Truth always comes out." Fans immediately connected it to Jay's warning. Nas surprised fans by defending Kendrick, tweeting, "Don't let social media trick you into believing every rumor. Truth is proven in the music." Not gossip. Cardi's allies, like Megan Thee Stallion, reposted Jay's clip with emojis that clearly suggested support. The industry was splitting into camps. Jay clarifies or does he? Jay clarifies or does he? Sensing the chaos, Jay-Z released a short statement through ROC Nation. "I wasn't siding with anyone. I was making a point about the culture and the responsibility of silence. People need to stop twisting my words." But instead of calming things down, the clarification only poured fuel on the fire. Cardi's fans insisted Jay was just trying to avoid drama, while Kendrick's fans argued this proved Cardi had misinterpreted his comments. Still, the damage had been done. The narrative was out of Kendrick's hands. The documentary effects soon after. YouTube creators and podcasters began dropping mini documentaries breaking down the feud. Titles like "The Day Jay-Z Checked Kendrick" and "Why Cardi Has the Upper Hand Over Kendrick" pulled millions of views. These breakdowns treated Jay's comment as the turning point, cementing Cardi's narrative as dominant. Kendrick was being portrayed not as the master of mystery, but as a man cornered. Fans demand action by now. Fans weren't just asking for Kendrick to respond, they were demanding it. Twitter was full of posts like, "If Kendrick don't drop a diss by Friday, it's over." Jay basically told him, "Speak or get exposed." This is Nas versus Jay all over again. But Kendrick ain't playing his part. The pressure reached a fever pitch. Every time Kendrick's name trended, fans refreshed his socials hoping for a cryptic post, a snippet, a leak, anything. Cardi's victory lap. Cardi sensed Kendrick's silence was breaking him down. She went live again, this time smiling confidently as she said, "I told y'all I wasn't scared. People act like I don't know the game. Jay-Z ain't stupid, he'd see what's happening. And I ain't done yet." Her supporters went wild. To them, this was no longer just a rap beef, it was proof that Cardi was rewriting the rules of authenticity in hip-hop. The cliffhanger by the end of part 2. Kendrick was cornered. Cardi had receipts. Jay had issued a warning. The industry was divided. The fans were restless. The stage was set for Kendrick to finally respond, but the question was, how? Would he drop a diss track? A whole album? Or would he risk letting silence destroy the image he built his entire career on? One thing was certain, the culture was no longer waiting. The clock was ticking. Whispers from the studios, the storm raged online. Rumors started spilling out of Los Angeles. Several producers claimed Kendrick Lamar had been spotted at a private studio in Calabasas, working late nights with a small circle of trusted engineers. One insider told a hip-hop blog, "Kendrick's not just recording, he's dissecting. Every bar, every angle, every word is being sharpened. He knows this isn't just about Cardi. Any Jay's involvement makes it bigger. He's planning something nuclear." Screenshots of studio engineers posting cryptic emojis, a pen, a flame, a crown, only made fans more certain. Kendrick was loading up a response. Cardi doubles down. Cardi, never one to miss an opportunity, went live again to turn the pressure up. Wearing a diamond-studded chain and sipping wine, she said, "Let me tell y'all something. I don't care if he in the studio. I don't care if he writing essays. Truth don't need rhymes. Truth is truth. And I got more if you want to play." She tapped her phone, hinting at files she hadn't released yet, and fans went wild. The hashtags #MoreReceipts and #TruthFiles trended within an hour. The threat was clear. If Kendrick clapped back, Cardi was ready to drop something even heavier. Jay-Z's role gets messy a while. Cardi fueled the fire. Jay-Z found himself dragged deeper into the drama, even though he insisted he wasn't picking sides. The internet had already crowned him the referee. A viral tweet read, "This feels like Jay versus Nas." But now Jay is watching Kendrick make the same mistakes Nas almost did. Another post with 200K likes declared, "Jay-Z basically told Kendrick, rap like your life depends on it. Or else, the comparisons to Jay's own historic battles weren't lost on fans. For many, this wasn't just about Cardi and Kendrick anymore, it was about weather. Kendrick could stand tall in front of legends like Jay. Kendrick's silence becomes strategy, though fans demanded immediate action. Kendrick's camp suggested his silence was intentional. According to one source, he's not dropping anything rushed. He knows the second he speaks, that's the headline. Right now, the noise is about Cardi and Jay. Kendrick's move will flip it all back to him, but only if it's calculated. Fans debated endlessly. Was Kendrick stalling because he was cornered? Or was he preparing a masterpiece that would silence everyone? Industry divides further. The hip-hop community kept weighing. J. Cole stayed neutral, but posted a cryptic tweet. Truth is complicated. But music makes it simple. Fans thought he was hinting at Kendrick's upcoming response. Nicki Minaj, a known rival of Cardi, subtly sided with Kendrick, liking a fan tweet that said Cardi using Jay for clout. Kendrick don't need gimmicks. Future jumped in with a story post. This why I don't talk. I just drop heat. Many saw it as shade toward both Cardi and Kendrick. It was clear this feud had grown beyond two rappers. It was becoming a cultural referendum on authenticity. Clout and legacy. Fans start betting Twitter Spaces. Reddit threads and even betting apps began discussing Kendrick's potential response. Would it be a single diss track, a surprise EP, or even a full album, the way he once reshaped the culture with Damn? Some fans speculated he'd pull an ass and drop a classic level track that would forever define the beef. Others feared Cardi's threats of more receipts meant Kendrick couldn't win, no matter how strong his bars were. Cardi teases a bombshell as if Kendrick didn't already have enough pressure. Cardi teased a big drop on Instagram. She posted a picture of a locked folder with the caption, "This ain't even half of it." The comments section exploded. Fans begged her to release whatever was inside. Others speculated it was personal details about Kendrick's career, deals, or private life. Even without releasing it, the threat kept her in control of the narrative. Jay-Z and Beyoncé stay silent while. Jay's earlier comments had sparked the wildfire. He and Beyoncé suddenly went radio silent. For many fans, this silence was even louder than his words. Theories emerged. Some said Jay didn't want to overshadow Kendrick's next move. Others believed Jay had realized his comment was being weaponized and decided to step back. A few even claimed Jay and Kendrick were secretly in talks behind the scenes. Whatever the truth, the silence only added fuel to the mystery. The cliffhanger builds by the end of this chapter. One thing was clear. The rap world was holding its breath. Cardi had the spotlight, her receipts, and the momentum. Jay-Z's words still echoed through the culture, shaping the narrative in Cardi's favor. Kendrick was in the studio, plotting, but the longer he stayed quiet, the more the pressure mounted. Fans weren't asking if Kendrick would respond anymore. They were asking when and whether it would be enough to shift the tide. The stage was set for an eruption. The calm before the storm days passed, and the silence from Kendrick Lamar was deafening. Every hour without a response turned social media into a frenzy. Fans spammed his posts with comments like, "Where's the track king? Cardi running laps around you, bro? Jay gave you a warning." Kendrick's absence only made Cardi's confidence grow. She posted selfies with captions like, "Unbothered" and "Receipts always win." The rap world was convinced Kendrick was cornered, but behind the scenes, something massive was brewing. The leak that shook everything. Then it happened. A mysterious snippet leaked online. Only 30 seconds long, it sounded unmistakably like Kendrick. His voice was sharp, cold, calculated. "You talk receipts, I talk legacy. You trend today, I last centuries." The internet went ballistic. Was this real? Was Kendrick finally about to clap back? Within minutes, hashtags like #KDOT returns and #checkmate were trending worldwide. Fans dissected every syllable, every cadence. Some claimed it was AI-generated, while others insisted it had Kendrick's signature precision. Either way, the culture shifted instantly. Kendrick was back in the conversation. Cardi fires back instantly, not one to let the spotlight slip. Cardi went live within hours of the leak. That's it. That's what he hiding in the studio for. Baby, if that's the best you got, don't make me unlock the folder. She tapped her phone again, hinting at her unreleased truth files. Fans went insane, demanding she release them. The tension hit a boiling point. Jay-Z forced back into the spotlight just when the internet thought it couldn't get any crazier. Jay-Z reappeared this time at a charity gala in New York. Reporters swarmed him, asking about Kendrick and Cardi. Jay smiled but delivered another cryptic line. Truth always wins. But sometimes, the way you deliver it matters more than the truth itself. The crowd erupted. Once again, Jay had managed to drop a line that sounded like philosophy but cut deep. Was he saying Cardi had the truth but lacked the artistry? Or was he hinting Kendrick needed more than bars to survive this? The blog spun it both ways, and fans grew even more divided. The music industry reacts as anticipation built. Major streaming platforms started teasing playlists titled The War for Truth and When Giants Collide. Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal all leaned into the feud. Knowing the streams would skyrocket once Kendrick dropped, sponsors and brands watched closely too. Whispers emerged that certain endorsements were on hold until the dust settled, especially for Kendrick. Cardi, on the other hand, was in talks with a major streaming service for an exclusive documentary-style release if she chose to drop her files. This wasn't just hip-hop beef anymore, was business, legacy, and money on the line. The streets speak out. On the streets of New York, LA, and Atlanta, fans debated in barbershops, clubs, and block parties. Was Cardi rewriting the rules of hip-hop beef by using evidence instead of bars? Or was Kendrick about to remind everyone why penmanship still reigns supreme? Graffiti appeared in Brooklyn reading, "Cardi got receipts." A mural in Compton showed Kendrick with a crown and the words, "Still King." The culture was split right down the middle. The countdown begins, insiders claimed. Kendrick had set a release date. A Friday midnight drop, the same night Cardi was allegedly planning to unlock her truth folder. Fans lost their minds. If true, it meant the world was about to witness the first ever simultaneous battle. One side dropping a diss track, the other dropping files. Bars versus receipts. Art versus evidence. Twitter was on fire. It's gonna be bigger than ether. Rap history bout to be made. If Jay-Z comments again, we might see the internet break. The final warning on the eve of the rumored release. Jay-Z posted a rare message on Instagram. Legends aren't defined by beef. They're defined by how they survive it. The comment section exploded. Some read it as Jay trying to de-escalate. Others thought it was his final warning to Kendrick. Deliver or fall. Cliffhanger of a generation. And then silence. Midnight approached. Fans refreshed Spotify, YouTube, and Twitter, waiting. Would Kendrick drop his nuclear track? Would Cardi release her files? Or would one of them blink first, letting the others seize the moment? The anticipation was suffocating by this point. The feud wasn't just between Cardi B and Kendrick Lamar. It wasn't even just about Jay-Z's cryptic warnings. It had become the cultural moment of hip-hop in a generation. The entire world was watching, waiting for the explosion, and there it is, the rap game hanging by a thread. Cardi B holding her so-called truth files, Kendrick Lamar rumored to have a diss locked and loaded, and Jay-Z dropping cryptic warnings that shake the culture to its core. This isn't just a beef anymore, it's history in the making. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Is Cardi really about to expose something that could change how we see Kendrick forever? Or is Kendrick about to deliver the kind of diss that rewrites the rules of rap battles for the next generation? Drop your thoughts below. I'm reading every single one. If you believe Cardi is sitting on the ultimate receipts, flood the comments with #receipt season. But if you think Kendrick's silence is just the calm before a lyrical storm, smash that like button and rep #KDOT strikes back. Don single quotes to forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Because when that track whore, those files finally drop, you'll want to be the first to see the breakdown. At CARDI. At Kendrick Lamar. SC. The rap world is watching.